Let me tell you something that's been bouncing around my head all week. Oil prices are plummeting, but not because of some sudden tech breakthrough or a global energy shift. No, it's because of a geopolitical chess game playing out in one of the most strategically vital places on Earth, the Strait of Hormuz. And what's fascinating is how this single waterway, which handles 20% of the world's oil, has become the fulcrum for a potential deal that could either end a war or escalate it further. But here's the kicker: the market isn't just reacting to the deal itself, it's reacting to the uncertainty of whether it'll ever happen. That's wild, right? Because when you think about oil prices, you usually picture supply and demand graphs, not political negotiations. But this is a perfect storm of geopolitics and economics, and it's making traders twitch. Now, let's break this down. Iran is pushing for a 5 to 7% fee on ships passing through Hormuz, while Oman is talking 3%, and the US wants zero fees. But here's what's really interesting: the deal isn't just about money. It's about power. Iran wants to assert its influence, the US wants to maintain its dominance, and Oman is trying to stay neutral. But the problem? The US sanctions and insurance clauses are making this deal almost impossible to structure. And if you think about it, this isn't just a financial issue, it's a symbolic one. If Trump even considers accepting this, he'd face a political firestorm. Because in America's eyes, letting Iran set the terms of a strait that's critical to global energy flow is a loss of face. But what if I told you this is exactly what Iran wants? To force the US into a position where they have to choose between economic stability and political survival? That's the kind of psychological warfare that's been missing from this conflict. And then there's the elephant in the room: the potential for attacks. Saudi Arabia is bracing for coordinated strikes from Iran-backed groups, and the Houthis are already launching missiles. But here's the thing: this isn't just about military posturing. It's about sending a message. To the US, to the Gulf states, to the world. If Iran can't secure a deal through diplomacy, they'll escalate through force. And that's terrifying because it means the market isn't just betting on a deal, it's also betting on chaos. Which brings me to this: oil prices are dropping, but is it because people think a deal is near, or because they're scared of what happens if it isn't? Because if the deal collapses, the strait could shut down, and the world's energy systems would feel the shockwaves instantly. And yet, investors are still watching the US payrolls data like it's the most important thing. How does that even make sense? It's like trying to predict a hurricane's path while ignoring the clouds on the horizon. What this really suggests is that we're in a moment where global stability is more fragile than we admit. The Strait of Hormuz isn't just a shipping lane, it's a litmus test for how well the world can balance diplomacy, economics, and military power. And if this deal falls apart, we might be looking at a scenario where oil prices skyrocket not because of scarcity, but because of fear. But here's the deeper question: is this all just a distraction? Because while the world is fixated on Hormuz, other issues, like climate change, renewable energy transitions, or even the rise of alternative oil suppliers, are quietly gaining momentum. Could this whole crisis be a sideshow compared to the long-term shift away from fossil fuels? I mean, if the US can't even agree on a fee for a strait, how are they going to manage a global energy transition? It's like trying to build a house while arguing about the color of the paint. So, what's the takeaway here? This isn't just about oil prices, it's about the thin line between diplomacy and disaster. And as someone who's watched geopolitics unfold for years, I can tell you this: the world is holding its breath. Whether the deal happens or not, the next few weeks will define not just the price of oil, but the balance of power in the Middle East. And if you ask me, the real story isn't in the numbers, it's in the people trying to navigate this minefield. Because at the end of the day, no one wants a war. But when the stakes are this high, even the smallest misstep can send shockwaves across the globe. So, what do you think? Is this deal a lifeline or a time bomb? And more importantly, are we ready for whatever comes next?